The 90s, where those days were never were, like it's compared to the 80s decades, that the 90s was the bam. Now anyways, Super Smash Bros. Has been alive as one of their second few of Nintendo crossover games of one of their fighting games since 1984 Fight Champion. I will not be discussing about no trivia or history or Easter eggs, something like that. But Super Smash Bros. Has been alive since the N64 Classic and the Melee Saga. Ever since the time there were no such scene of appeared when the internet came as their debut, where the 1990s were over with. But we have noticed that ever since that there's been leaks and rumors about who is the character who's going to be in the next Smash Brothers sequel or spin-off. We know we got Marvel vs. Capcom and crossover fighting, and it's also predicted to Capcom vs. SNK, but you know how it really goes when the 90s and early 2000s were that bomb at that time though. For my own perspective, I did not hear about something like that about who's the next the character is gonna be in the next Smash Brothers game, not until Brawl, and then Smash for a bit to it until right now to Nintendo Switch, from what we're going to have for the same usual for our guesses for prediction character who's going to be included to Smash Brothers or being cut out or removed or replaced like the usual like they do of. I am not going to talk about the Nintendo canon characters, but what if I did tell you that what if scenario if our Nintendo OC or the third party others OC were going to be included, or what if scenario to pretend if they're going to be in the next Smash Brothers? How will you feel about this?
Mario!
Nintendo has been around as much of Sega does Capcom since 1978, maybe 1979 for the longest time, as the third party company independent had, so as Namco Tech, or Namco was called Bandai Namco. Nintendo, it is the most well recognized it from the very end of the 1800s, and for this so-called us, the fans, we have inspiration from Nintendo game prop and franchise, from media, films, music, and so many that can go to list on from those. And it still goes today. We know that this called fan art and fan fiction that is being centrally around since the mid-late 90s and around the corner on the 2000s, and it goes to the memes on this new millennium of 2010, and it still goes on to this day for the expectation. However, people can call for this for fandom because of the word OC or completely original character, Like us fans, we have inspiration from Nintendo game or the third-party games from the home console or PC or whatever media we once known of. But you know how it really goes for what it turns out to be. We know that the third-party OC has to do with Capcom, Namco and such, and the example for Sonic fan characters and OC, that is Kasiri. And let us know that it can be pretend that if they will be included to a Super Smash Bros. Series that we got inspiration about those. It is most likely they can be included to that for Konami, Squaresoft, aka Square Enix, and Namco, and Ubisoft. I don't know Rayman was included to that, but he was as a trophy cameo to say for reference, I guess, something like that. But I don't know about the one though. It is very predictable that I almost forgot to mention that this was more than 6 or 8 years when Smash Bros. Debut. Afterward that the Nintendo Wii has hacked and made a lot of most characters for Project M. And we know about that. It's very predictable and very similar to that. We like video games and Japanese pop culture, all those scenes, but for games like this from Nintendo is made by Japan, and the Japanese has great influence to 2D fighting game, as well as others media from Japan like their music and anime and such forth. As we fans develop such scenes for creating an OC for Super Smash Bros. Or Mario Brothers, for example, you have to have a hobby, something you love to do though. Because I know as many people as that there are fans, there are celebrities or directors and such that they love to have a theme of their favorite story or their favorite book. Take for instance for an example, Mr. John has his favorite game of all time called Fire Emblem Heroes, and he will adapt a anime special for TV Tokyo. This is just for example. You as the viewer, or if you are a Nintendo fan or video game fan or pop culture, have influential. If you like to do in a character like a Nintendo OC or a third party to be in Super Smash Bros., pretend as it is, make an animation or cosplay or do something you want to do though. As previously mentioned as the YouTube video, go do something you love to do, what you enjoy doing though. It's not a small thing to hurt though. Trust me about that. Actually, when I mentioned do something you want to do, I heard about a lot on the internet before it goes fame where Newground take the honorable mention, the mention about Newground. Back in the day as a kid, maybe 2004, when I discovered I want to create like they do, when I used to see a lot of Mario Flash animation or Mega Man and such forth, when I was a kid at the age of 12, we know that Nintendo has a Flash collection And we know I want to bring the honorable mention for Super Smash Bros. Flash. That's what I refer about. Do what you want to do to make your dream come true. And just don't wait for it. Dream it and go ahead and do it. And he did. For the countless of their favorite characters in such for simply has nothing to do with Nintendo for authorizing, but independent by made by the fans for the fans. Even for what he called by the fans or for the fans, whichever you made it or name it, likewise. It is quote to quote motto for just saying for maybe motivational scenes, I suppose. But yeah, people do create art, something they love to do, and like the scene for they wanted to do for their job, for their dream as they were kids, and they wanted to create as they were kids. That goes to me either. Me too, not me neither, but me too wanted to do something for creativity to show the world though. To take that for an example, to do what you want to do. Basically, I know they did Project M and Super Smash Bros. Flash on Newground and other website various. And also, we have called this terminally called community and fan based. We know fan base is terrible since Tumblr, but I won't get to mention about that. We know about this for various reasons, but yeah, we know this a lot. I have been an expert knowing how it goes to this new era of the millennium of 2010s though. But actually we're coming to the very end of 2010s, so we're moving ahead to 2020s for the new millennium. We know how it goes to this, but since for the fandom, for Nintendo or third party, for instance, even for the community, what you love to create, act, or do something about it, I suppose. From the word of lesson, aspiring, enthusiastic, inspirational. It is the same for motivational things. Maybe this is what I learned or thought about something new. I know this a lot, but I learn every day from it. From outside people, and I can name it though. That 3 or few scenes, aspiring, enthusiastic, enthusiastic, that's how I spell it. Correct me if I'm wrong, so let me know. And aspiring, I think, are the 3 scenes that are the capability, what they love to do, I suppose so. Something they love doing, I suppose. And if you wanted to create a Mario character to pretend he was going to be in Super Smash Bros., take this for instance. This is a lot better if that would be foolishness to a newcomer or DLC what if scenario it would be. Let's say for example, this is not real or this has nothing to do with Nintendo Switch upcoming new game for the Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Switch. This is not the official for the Nintendo Switch. I only do it as an example for what being scenario. And I know it's not 100% real, but it is fake. But I know I worked pretty hard to put Mario and Link of the Shadow so we know who they are, who's going to be presentable in the next Nintendo Switch, but we know it's them. But I'm giving an example of an original character. What if scenario if they're going to be included or to pretend though? We can make a suggestion about what if scenario that we can make a Super Smash Brother for original character like the Mii Fighter Brawler. Yeah, that's how you call that. Why not make a game about this and turn into Felicia's fan made by a fan? Or we can ask, who we know whom though? Creator of Kirby, Curb. We know whom we refer to.
今回の任天堂デジタルイベント、まずは私からスマブラの話をします。オープニングでどこかの社長たちが仲良く戦っていましたね。
So you did that interview and behind the screen of the Mii Fighters and how to do this? This is completely referring to original character. Why not do Super Smash Bros. OC creation like this one? Mr. Masahiro Sakurai. Although Mr. Masahiro Sakurai, you're also an inspiration too, but I knew you a little bit. But Mr. Sakurai, we suggest to you that you need to create Super Smash Bros. For original character with Mii Fighters like you did Nintendo Land. We highly suggested that. If you're going to make Nintendo Switch for the Super Smash Bros., we highly demand for fan layer to you do a Super Smash Bros. For character creator. We highly suggest it, just like you did for the Wii U for the Mii Fighter. Just please, kindly please. Now you predicted the future Nintendo just like you did to one of my original characters. So we don't know how it predict for the time though. But I'm just saying, and just to be honest, I'm not upset or anything. But Mr. Masahiro Sakurai, we suggested that you should do a Super Smash Bros. OC creator what if scenario to do this. We highly suggested that, please. We don't know if it's gonna be Felicia's, but this is just for a saying though.